Hello, guys! Hope you're doing well. I'm Melanie. If you enjoy a good Reddit story, feel free to hit that subscribe button. I won't stop you. Right then, let's crack on with our first story of the day. The first story comes from a throwaway account in the relationship subreddit, and it says, My 23 female boyfriend, 25 male, of 3 years, says he knows I cheated on him while doing study abroad, but I didn't. My boyfriend and I have been together for 3 years. We are long distance. We're from the same hometown, but he goes to school in another state. So we see each other over the summer and most holidays. This past summer, I did study abroad in Peru for 2 months. It was one of the most amazing experiences, and I had so much fun. I didn't have a phone or regular internet, so I communicated via email every couple of days. I told my boyfriend this would be the case before leaving, and he said it was okay. When I got back, he was excited to see me, and I was excited to see him, but I was very tired and honestly fell asleep within minutes of first seeing him. I'd literally gotten off the plane just an hour before. When I woke up, he seemed upset. I asked what was up, and he just started asking how my trip was. I told him it was fun and told him about my friends, etc. Then, all of a sudden, he says, I know you cheated on me. At this point, I'm confused. I just said, what? And he said, I know you did. It's okay. It's whatever. Well, I didn't cheat on him. There were only 4 other guys on the trip. 2 had girlfriends, 1 was incredibly gay, and the only single straight one was hooking up with this other girl the whole time. I told him this, and he just kept saying he knew I cheated on him. I asked people on the trip, and nobody said anything to him. They're all just as confused as me. I asked my boyfriend why he thinks I did, and he said, I just know. The weird thing is that he's saying he's okay with it, but still keeps bringing it up that I cheated on him. It's making me angry because I didn't cheat. I had a lot of opportunities to and never even got close to taking them. I told him the only guy I did anything close with was my gay friend, and all we did was dance at a club together. He started saying, well, I don't know if it was one of your friends or a local. What the hell, dude? I don't know what to do. He just keeps saying I cheated, but I didn't. He also says he doesn't care, but brings it up. I can't figure out how to convince him otherwise, aside from the fact this is a totally ridiculous idea he has anyway. We had literally no time to even talk to local people there enough to hook up with them because we were busy every day, all day, doing things. Is this breakup worthy? I love him, but have no idea why he'd be doing this. Summary. Did study abroad for 2 months. Boyfriend is convinced I cheated, but says he doesn't care. But I did not cheat. Edit. Thank you so much to all who commented. Definitely a lot to think about. I'm going to reply to some people and confront my boyfriend later tonight. Let me tell you something. This whole situation is absolutely bonkers. I mean, are we serious right now? This bloke, her boyfriend, gets it in his head, convinced by some phantom intuition, that she cheated just because she was in another country. And not a shred of evidence. Like, what? Honestly, it sounds like some sort of insecurity on his part. And the worst part is that he says he doesn't care, yet keeps bringing it up. Mate, if you're going to accuse your partner of cheating, at least stick to your guns if you truly believe it. Don't do this wishy-washy, I don't care, but I clearly do, routine. Either you're bothered by it or you're not. Let's pick a lane here. And then, on top of that, to suggest some imaginary local romance, it's absurd. It's as if he's crafting this elaborate narrative out of thin air to justify his paranoia. I don't know about you folks, but this doesn't sound study abroad issue. It sounds like a relationship trust issue. Tell me I'm crazy, but her response and confusion were completely justified. And yet, he's latched on to this baseless accusation. Genuinely, what even is this drama? If you're listening to this, you felt that too. Sharing is caring. Please share your thoughts below. A Reddit user says, ask your boyfriend for the evidence he has to support his claim. I honestly think he cheated on you and is projecting his cheating onto you in hopes you'll confess so he can break up with you and not tell you he cheated and avoid being a giant asshole for cheating. OP responds, honestly, I've been wondering this myself. Maybe he's saying he doesn't care and he's going to drop the bomb that he did and hope I don't care. The only thing is that I just can't imagine how he'd cheat. He has no female friends, and neither do any of his male friends. He's kind of weird and nerdy. Someone says, my guess is he is very insecure. He may have heard or read all the horror stories of couples going abroad and cheating on their significant other the whole time and is projecting that insecurity onto this situation. My advice to you would be this. Tell him that you find it very hurtful that he has accused you of cheating and that he doesn't trust you enough to take you at your word. Tell him that now is the time to ask any questions he has, and if, after the discussion, he still thinks you cheated, you will be taking time to reevaluate if you want to continue in this relationship. Something tells me he's just worried that you did, and was trying to get you to confess to cheating by claiming he somehow knew you did from some mysterious source. But in reality, you never did. So this immature scheme won't work. I am almost willing to bet that is what he is doing. This also sounds like some stupid advice a group of guys would come up with, so he probably got a lot of trash talk from his friends while you were gone, suggesting you were with half the guys in Peru while you were there. OP responds, "Thanks, I think this is a possibility too. He is usually kind of insecure. I'm going to bring this up to him and get to the bottom of it. Be it that he's insecure or cheating or whatever." Someone says, "With the timing of him getting upset, I think he snooped. I think he looked through your phone and saw something he thought was incriminating. Maybe it was a picture of someone with their shirt off. Maybe it was a text message he misinterpreted. Maybe it was something old. Maybe he found out that you deleted something, or assumes you did. I think you should tell him that he may not care that you cheated, but you care a lot that you're being accused of cheating when you didn't. Tell him you have no idea where this is coming from, but you're starting to think he just wants you off balance because he cheated. Give him a choice. Either you will have an honest and mature conversation about this, both about your cheating and about what he did when you weren't around, or you're done." OP responds, "He fell asleep with me, so I don't think he snooped. I'm pretty sure he was just mad that I had fallen asleep instead of sitting up and talking with him or whatever. I was just so tired. It is possible he woke up and snooped, and maybe I didn't wake up, but I didn't even bring my phone with me, so anything on my phone or computer is from before I even left. I am going to double check to see if there's anything funny in my messages, though." Someone says, "Is this breakup worthy? I love him, but have no idea why he'd be doing this." Yes, this is breakup worthy. It's not required, but it's worthy. Being accused of something you didn't do is one of the most frustrating things for human beings to deal with. Him just coming out and accusing you is really not the way to handle this. If he had any worries, he should have sat you down and told you that he was feeling insecure that you were in Paris and maybe got carried away one night. But he didn't do that. Does he realize that you can have an amazing time without there being intimate relations involved at some point? Seriously asking. Some people don't seem to get that, and yeah, the projecting issue crossed my mind as well, but that has been well covered already, and apparently something you have already considered. So, what would your relationship look like going forward? Are you both proceeding as if you did actually cheat and he's just okay with it? Will he start accusing you of cheating when you are 5 minutes late? Will he start accusing you of mundane things, making you a scapegoat for every little thing that goes wrong? How are you going to deal with your frustration? It sounds like he doesn't even want to talk about this, like his mind is made up. That's not good for a relationship. Your frustration may boil over into rage, or perhaps exasperation, also not good for a relationship. You need to clear the air somehow. He can't prove something that never happened, so he needs to come to terms with whatever jealousies and insecurities he may have. Speaking of which, a good partner would have supported you about this trip, not only before going, but also upon your return. He should be happy for you and interested in your experiences. Or you can dump him, but I doubt this is something you can just sweep under the rug. OP responds, "Yeah, I don't know what the future will be like. If he's always going to assume I cheated and he's okay with it, even if he did not cheat while I was gone. Then, in the future, he might just decide that if he's in a situation where he can cheat, he might think it's okay because he's assuming I did. I don't know. I'm just going to talk to him soon. This is all bothering me so much." Floomby says, "It is very, very wrong to tell another person what they are thinking or feeling. It's akin to negating that person's voice. Your boyfriend is not even interacting with the real you. He is interacting with his imaginary version of you and refuses to listen to you when you try to bring him back to reality. That's why I recommend that you break up. Regardless of whether he is cheating and projecting, or gaslighting, or getting back at you for going abroad and having fun, or simply under the sway of his delusions and insecurities, makes no difference. It's all bad. You cannot have a relationship with somebody who refuses to see the real you." OP responds, "Getting back at you for having fun. Damn, I never considered this." Just a day later, the OP comes with an update and shares, Okay, so I want to thank everyone for all of the advice. I really appreciate it that so many people cared to give their ideas. A lot of people thought cheating, but some suggested he was just insecure. Last night, I asked him to come over. I should have mentioned in my original post that the original event actually happened in mid-August. When it first happened, after enough, I said, "Listen, you're making me really upset. Stop saying that I did something I didn't do." And he just said, "Okay, sorry," but then proceeded to occasionally bring it up since August until now. Also, we are long distance, kind of. He goes to school in another state, but is from my hometown. He's been here the past few days due to family issues. So when he was over, I asked him why he feels so strongly I cheated, and at first, he tried to brush it off. I kept pressing him, and finally, he said, "I just don't feel like you could go somewhere like that with a bunch of guys and nothing would happen." I told him, "Well, you go to Florida for most of the year for school with a bunch of girls. So are you saying that you don't think I could do it because you've done something?" Well, he flew off the handle and freaked out. He started yelling that he was so upset I'd even think to accuse him of cheating, that he never had and never will, that I knew about any time a girl came on to him too strong because he'd tell me about it, which is true. I just sat there and watched him and then finally asked, "Well, how is it ridiculous for me to ask you that, but you think it's ridiculous that I even argue that I never cheated?" He just said that he knows me and he knows what I'd do. Finally, I just got upset and said that if he can't trust me and thinks so lowly of me, we probably shouldn't be together. He started going off then, saying, "See, I knew you cheated." I got fed up with the crazy and told him to go. He asked if I was breaking up with him, and I said no. I said no because I figured if I said yes, he wouldn't leave. But I felt pretty sure that's what I wanted to do. After he left, I called up his brother, who I am sometimes close to, and told him the story. His brother was surprised by how crazy he was, but also told me that my boyfriend's last girlfriend, his first, had cheated on him, so he probably just thinks that of everyone now. He told me that my boyfriend has some massive anger issues and has been known to get physical with people and objects when angry. He also told me about a bunch of other crazy things my boyfriend has done, including running away from home as a 20-year-old when he didn't get his way, cursing out his mom and telling her to unalive when she took his brother's side over a petty argument. Some other minor things were that my boyfriend has apparently stated he never wants to move out of his parents' house and continue making YouTube videos for the rest of his life. That, and how stupid my boyfriend acted to me over me doing literally nothing, made me decide I wanted to end it. I called up my boyfriend and told him it's over. I'm pretty sad about it. I do love him, but I don't want to deal with crazy situations. Plus, it's pretty lame we've been together 3 years and he still thinks he wants to live with his parents forever. I've asked him many times what he wants to do when he's out of college. He just says, "I don't know." In short, he accused me more and more of the same thing. He didn't cheat, probably, but is extremely unstable, so we broke up. Thank you everyone for the comments. Wow. I'm trying to reply to most, but I am reading everything. People are asking how I never noticed these red flags earlier. I kind of did, but wasn't sure. We were long distance, which I think often left me confused. A lot of times I'd wonder if his actions were just because we were far. Hearing his brother say those things just confirmed that's not the case. Also, a lot of you were upset I called his ex crazy and referenced her drug use as an example. I actually knew her personally. She was a pathological liar as well as being clinically unstable and did a lot of Zaza and was young. Throwing the word crazy around was rude of me, and of course, drug use doesn't mean crazy. I'm a bit jaded when it comes to her because she used to be my friend, but has done some pretty messed up stuff. So sorry if I came off as insensitive and for tossing those words around like that. Oh my, the audacity in this story is just beyond me. Let me tell you something. The sheer gall of this bloke is absolutely unbelievable. I mean, accusing someone of cheating based solely on your insecurities from a past relationship? Come on, man, that's utterly ridiculous. And the worst part is, it seems like this guy has been harboring these trust issues and projecting them onto our storyteller here without any real evidence. Okay, let's break this down. He thinks she's fooling around just because he's insecure? Mate, get your facts straight before you ruin a 3-year relationship. And then, when she flips the script to question his faithfulness, he bloody loses it. Seriously, what's the excuse this time? It's pure hypocrisy. And you know what makes it worse? Finding out that he's got this history of erratic behavior, like cussing out his mom or running away at 20. I mean, it's just a parade of red flags, isn't it? At this point, I'm just laughing. If you're listening to this, you felt that too. The level of immaturity is absolutely staggering. Honestly, it's best she moved on. That kind of crazy? No one needs that in their life. What do you think, huh? Drop your thoughts below because I need therapy after this. The next story comes from Impressive Visit QDBX in the Am I the Jerk subreddit, and it says, "My daughter excluded me from her wedding and chose her stepdad to walk her down the aisle. She is reaching out now to apologize, but I don't care about her anymore. Am I wrong?" My daughter got married 6 years ago. Her mom and I divorced 14 years ago after I cheated. I won't sugarcoat it. I was wrong. Our marriage wasn't in a good place, but that doesn't excuse what I did. I should have gone to therapy or ended the marriage instead of stepping outside of it. My actions didn't just end my marriage, they damaged my relationship with my daughter. Before the divorce, my daughter and I were very close. After it, that closeness slowly disappeared. My ex-wife remarried a few years later. I tried to repair things with my daughter over the years, but she stayed really distant. When she got engaged, I hoped the wedding might be a turning point for us. It wasn't. Instead, she didn't invite me at all. She basically called to tell me she didn't want me at her wedding and that she had asked her stepfather to walk her down the aisle. That call really hurt me a lot, but I congratulated her, wished her well, and respected her decision. But yeah, that was the moment I let go. I realized that whatever bond we once had was gone, and nothing I did was going to bring it back. Not long after, I moved to a different state, and that was the best decision I've ever made in my life. I got out of a long mental funk, and last year, I remarried. My wife is incredible. She has 2 kids, now 10 and 8. Their father passed away when they were babies. I love them like my own, and I take being their stepfather very seriously. My life is busy, full, and genuinely happy. It feels like I've been given a second chance, and I don't take that lightly. Over the past few years, my biological daughter has started reaching out in messages, especially over the last year. She sends photos of her baby and asks if there's anything she can do to fix our relationship and if I want to meet my grandchild. I don't respond to her messages. She also calls, but when she calls, I always answer. But I keep the conversation short and very straightforward. When she asks if there's anything she can do to repair things, I tell her no. When she asks if I want to see her baby, I tell her no. She's cried on the phone a lot. She's apologized. She said she regrets things. And I just feel detached. Like I'm happy for her having a baby the same way I'd be happy for a stranger. The truth is, when she chose to exclude me from her wedding and have her stepfather walk her down the aisle, that was the moment our relationship ended for me. My daughter chose her family, and I choose mine, my wife and my 2 kids. Am I wrong for not wanting to reopen a relationship with my daughter? Kevin6263 says, "You may not like this answer or maybe already know what to do, but it may be difficult. When you cheated on your wife, you cheated on the family. Your whole family was hurting, even your daughter. Regardless of the decision to leave you out of the wedding, there is some pretty serious trauma there. Years later, your daughter is healing and wants you back in her life. It kind of sounds like there should be a serious dose of forgiveness all around." Coach Oldness Babda says, "You're the asshole. A major a-hole. Not a jerk. Worse. Dude, you destroyed that girl's world, and yeah, she was mad, really mad. She realized she messed up by completely excluding you from the wedding, but you cheated. And when you broke up the marriage, you broke up the family. Have you seen how kids hurt? I've taught for 2 decades, and as a teacher, one of the saddest things to deal with is a broken child whose world has been devastated by a broken family. It breaks their spirit, their person, and it takes years, even decades, for that person to heal. She's asking for a relationship because she realized she doesn't want to be the parent you were. Like many have already said, when you cheated on your wife, you were cheating on that relationship with your daughter. There are easier and better ways to end a marriage. You were basically saying to your wife you didn't give a damn about her feelings, about who she was as a person. How is a girl supposed to feel about her dad doing that to her mom? Is that how you want her treated? Honestly, if you want nothing to do with her, maybe she's better off without you. And yeah, it's your loss. I swear, I read a lot of complicated family dynamics, but this one, it's a maze of emotions and missteps. Here's where I lost it. I mean, the daughter didn't just throw a casual cold shoulder. She completely erased her father from one of life's biggest moments. And now, after all your efforts to mend things, she wants to hit the reset button because, what? Having a baby changed everything? And the worst part is, the emotional wreckage from that wedding day lays heavy. It's like, if the olive branch had involved a wedding invite instead, maybe, just maybe, things might have taken a different turn. I can't even believe this. But tell me how it makes sense to build up a new, fulfilling life and then suddenly flip the switch back to what was left behind. Emotional investments aren't that simple. It feels like opening a wound. If you're listening to this, you felt that too. Pop your thoughts below because this story's a tornado of regret and realizations. I need some clarity on this one. The last story comes from Meggie Mara in the Untitled People subreddit, and it says, "A dude was determined to take me, an engaged woman, home." I'm not sure if this belongs here. If it doesn't, feel free to remove it. I just wanted to tell this story somewhere. I live in a very rural area, and we have community hall dances every few months that my friends and I always attend together. We stay in our group of girls and always have a good time. This time was different. There's always someone very drunk at the dance, confusing a community hall dance for a bar, but we always ignore whoever it is that's in that state. Well, last night they didn't give us much room to ignore them. This guy, whom I've never seen before, walked straight over to our group. Immediately, I saw him look me up and down, and then he stood there silently for a moment, giving me direct eye contact. For reference, eye contact makes me quite uncomfortable, so I looked away and continued talking with my friends. He started complimenting my hair, and in my head, I knew what he was trying to do. I just nodded and said that was nice of him. He continued on to say that if he were my boyfriend, he wouldn't leave me alone for any guy to take home. I said to him, "Well, my fiancé and I have trust, so..." Then he kept going on, saying, "Oh, well, if it were me, I wouldn't let a girl like you out of my sight." He then started telling my other friend that he would help her up. She was crouching because she was cold and we were outside for a puff break. She declined, and he said, "Don't worry, I'm not one of those guys." My friends and I gave each other the look and walked right past the guy to another area. Skip to 10 minutes later, I'm dancing with my girls and we are having a good time. My mom was hitting the dance floor, so I started recording her to send to my sister. Here comes this guy again, and I got this on video. He practically walked through my mom, pushing her out of the way to get to me. He came right beside me, literally shoulder to shoulder. Keep in mind, this is a dance, not a club. He didn't need to be touching me. He leaned into my ear and said, "You can't be recording all of this." I replied, "Well, I'm recording my mom." He asked, "Your mom?" I pointed at my mom and said, "Yes, that is my mom." He then changed the subject and said, again in my ear, "Are you single?" Which I'd already answered once. I said, "No, I am not." And he asked, "Oh, you have a boyfriend?" I said, "Actually," and I put my ring right in his face. He took a second, awkwardly staring at me and my ring, still touching me. Also, if you're wondering why I didn't move, he had me basically pinned between him and the table. He put his hands up, stepped away, and said, "I respect that." He began to ask why my fiancé wasn't there, and I told him that my fiancé is a working man and was at his night shift providing for me. I then cut him off mid-sentence and told him, "This is me and the girls' song. I'm going to dance with them." And I walked past him and left him standing there awkwardly. You'd think he'd give up. Nope. He stared at me the entire night. The girl he brought with him came up to me and told me she was trying to explain to him that I'm engaged, but he is hell-bent on bringing me home. I told her that's never happening. After 2 of my friends left for the night, I was still hanging out with my friend who was coming back to my place with me. He came over again. He stood about 2 feet in front of me and started flirting with my friend. He kept giving me a look like he was trying to make me jealous. But really, now you're just making multiple girls uncomfortable. He started telling my friend, we were outside for a puff break, that she should go inside because she must be cold if he was freezing out there. We told him we were fine, but he was welcome to go back inside. He then started saying to her that she had to go inside because she would freeze. I looked at him and I said, "She's fine." And he replied, "I know she is, but she should go inside." So my friend and I looked at him and walked past him to go inside together. Behind us, I heard him say, "Look, I'm just trying to make friends. I'm not trying to be rude." We ignored him and left a few minutes later. I forgot to mention earlier, after the first encounter, we told the bouncer to keep an eye on him and left our drinks with the dance coordinator to keep watch, because this guy seemed absolutely determined he was going to take me home, one way or another. Edit. I forgot to mention the part where he kept saying in my ear, "You're the hottest one here, you know." And I said to him, "Well, that's your opinion." And he replied, "But it's true. You're hotter than all of them." And I said, "Well, I think all my girls are hot." And then he kept saying the same thing throughout our encounters. Just wanted to add that. Edit. I hate that I feel the need to defend myself, but here we go. For those asking why I didn't yell in his face, as I mentioned in another comment, I have PTSD specifically related to this type of thing. I find it very hard to actually have a voice and stand up for myself. I was actually proud of myself for keeping my cool and handling it in a calm manner instead of breaking down and ruining our night. Yelling at a man and telling him to back off has gotten me and many other women into even more dangerous situations. Women do not always feel safe getting loud and aggressive. Making a scene could have made this guy snap for all I know. And he does know people who know where I live, so no, I didn't want to give this person a reason to become aggressive. I didn't give him any signal whatsoever that I wanted him around. None of us did. As I mentioned before, this is an extremely rural area. For those saying they would have left and gone to a different venue, that wasn't an option. There is not another dance in town going on at the same time, and we weren't going to let this guy push us out and ruin our girls' night. As for people asking why the coordinator didn't tell him to leave, this guy happened to come with the coordinator's daughter, and I'm guessing, like me, no one wanted to cause a scene. This guy was a creep, and sure, in the big cities, maybe this is something that's easier to handle and more common. I don't go out other than the community hall dances. Our group doesn't have this happen to us. We don't go to clubs or bars, we go to the dances because it's normally a very safe space for us. This was a very new experience for us, and none of us had been through it before to know exactly what to do other than to stay close and walk away to another area in the dance. I did stand up for myself in the only way I physically could, as someone with the PTSD I have. I am proud of myself. We were all safe at the end of the night, and even if I didn't scream at the top of my lungs, I held my ground and didn't whimper and cower like I would have in the past. So you can go down the victim-blaming route all you want, but I'm proud of me. My girls are proud of me, and I am safe. If you'd rather blame the women trying to have a good time with their friends instead of the creep who didn't understand personal space and how to respect an engagement ring, then that's your choice. But it says more about you than it does about me. Thank you. I will not be responding to any more victim-blaming comments. Thank you to those who actually understand and have been so kind and supportive. Stay safe out there. Thank you to those who actually understand and have been so kind and supportive. Stay safe out there. Someone says, never tell anyone that your fiancé works nights. Give zero personal information to men you don't know, especially someone acting like this. A Killer of Joy says, later that night, the same guy was being driven home by his buddies, and he said, man, she was totally leading me on, kept making eyes at me, but as soon as I approached, she'd get weird, talking about her boyfriend or whatever, trying to make me jealous. I was just trying to be nice and take her home and, give her some of what she totally wanted. You all seen her all over me, yeah? She's such a His buddies, giving each other that awkward look, said, yeah, buddy, sure. Whatever you say. Oh, hey, there's your house. Off you go. It's sleepy time. Man, back in the day, a true friend would have slapped him a couple of times and told him to shut the F word up, that he is acting like a fucking creep. Get the hell out of the car and go sleep it off until you grow some decency and common sense. Sadly, the idea of a friend has diluted to a casual acquaintance these days. No one is around to hold their friends accountable. You know what blows my mind? Some people just don't seem to comprehend boundaries, no matter where you are. Whether it's a rural dance or a bustling club in the heart of a city, personal space is personal space, folks. Now, this story is a reminder of why we need to keep calling this nonsense out. I mean, for crying out loud, invading someone's space like that and ignoring clear boundaries is not just uncomfortable, it's downright savage. And speaking of discomfort, if you've ever had a night where someone just wouldn't take a hint, I bet you felt this deep down. It's absurd, really. I've got so much appreciation for people who handle these situations gracefully. So guys, if anything like this has ever happened to you, or if you've seen it unfold, I need to hear your stories. Drop your thoughts below because the therapy session starts now. And if you've enjoyed this wild ride, check out more of my videos. Trust me, you'll want to stick around for more of these roller coasters of human behavior. Until next time, take care and stay safe.